Your brain is the most powerful tool you own, but are you making it stronger? Every day is a chance to sharpen your edge, build new connections, and unlock your potential. Don't just live, evolve. My name is Professor Alex Horniak, and this is ACEMED Minutes. Train your brain. Imagine walking into a classroom on the first day of school. The teacher looks at you and, without knowing anything else, decides you are destined for greatness. They believe you are a bloomer, a student with hidden talents just waiting to blossom. Throughout the year, this belief shapes every interaction. The teacher smiles at you more, offers more encouragement, gives you more challenging tasks. By the end of the year, something incredible happens. You don't just feel smarter, you actually become smarter. This isn't a fairy tale. It's a real phenomenon backed by a groundbreaking experiment. It shows us that what we believe about others can profoundly change their future. This powerful idea is known as a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's the notion that a belief or expectation, whether true or false, can influence events to make that expectation come true. Think of it like a script that someone hands you. If the script says you are a star performer, you start to act like one. You practice more, you stand taller, and you perform with confidence. In a classroom, the teacher holds the script. Their expectations, both spoken and unspoken, can write the story of a student's success or struggle. This simple yet profound concept was put to the test in one of the most famous experiments in the history of education. The experiment revealed a truth that many great teachers have always known in their hearts. Belief is a powerful tool. It can unlock potential that might otherwise remain dormant. When a teacher sees a spark of brilliance in a student, they nurture it with attention and care, helping it grow into a bright flame. Conversely, if a teacher believes a student has limited ability, they might unintentionally hold them back, offering less support and fewer opportunities to grow. The name for this incredible phenomenon comes from an ancient Greek myth. The story is about a sculptor named Pygmalion who carved a statue of a woman so beautiful that he fell deeply in love with it. He wished with all his heart that his creation, Galatea, could come to life. The goddess of love, Aphrodite, was so moved by his devotion that she granted his wish, and the statue became a living, breathing woman. This myth is about the power of belief to shape reality. Just as Pygmalion's love and belief brought his statue to life, a teacher's high expectations can bring a student's potential to life in the classroom. This idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy inspired a psychologist named Robert Rosenthal. In 1964, he wanted to see if this Pygmalion effect was real in an educational setting. He teamed up with Lenore Jacobson, a school principal, to design an experiment that would test this very idea. They chose an elementary school in California as their setting. Their goal was to find out if simply telling teachers that certain students were special would actually make them special. They weren't just looking for changes in grades. They wanted to see if teacher expectations could actually change a student's fundamental intelligence as measured by an IQ test. The setup of the experiment was simple but clever. At the beginning of the school year, Rosenthal and Jacobson gave all the students at the school an IQ test. They told the teachers that this test could predict which students were on the verge of a major intellectual growth spurt. They called these students intellectual bloomers. The researchers then randomly selected about 20% of the students from the school population. They chose these students completely by chance. It had nothing to do with their actual test scores. The researchers then gave the teachers the names of these randomly chosen students and told them that these were the bloomers. The teachers were led to believe that they had a list of students who were poised for greatness. They thought the test had identified hidden geniuses in their classrooms. In reality, the only thing that made these students different from their peers was the label they were given. The bloomers were no more or less capable than any other student in the school. The entire experiment rested on this one crucial piece of misinformation. The researchers wanted to see what would happen when teachers believed in a potential that, according to the initial tests, might not even exist. The stage was set for a remarkable discovery. With the bloomers identified, the experiment began. The teachers went about their school year believing they had a special group of students in their midst. The researchers, Rosenthal and Jacobson, did not tell the teachers how to behave. They simply stepped back and observed. They wanted to see if the teachers' behavior would naturally change based on their newfound expectations. The teachers were not consciously trying to favor anyone. Most of them would have sworn they treated all their students exactly the same. But subtle changes began to happen, often without the teachers even realizing it. After 8 months, the school year came to an end. It was time for the researchers to see what had happened. They returned to the elementary school and gave all the students the same IQ test they had taken at the beginning of the year. The results were stunning and far more dramatic than anyone had anticipated. The students who had been randomly labeled as intellectual bloomers showed a significantly greater increase in their IQ scores compared to the other students in the control group. The prophecy had come true. The students who were expected to get smarter actually did get smarter. The effect was most powerful in the younger grades. In the first grade, the bloomers showed massive gains in their IQ scores. In the second grade, the bloomers showed massive gains in their IQ scores. The difference between them and their classmates was enormous. This suggested that younger children are more malleable and more sensitive to their teachers' expectations. Their sense of self is still forming, and the beliefs of important adults, like their teachers, have a huge impact on how they see themselves and their abilities. For these young children, their teachers' belief became a powerful engine for intellectual growth, changing the very trajectory of their academic development. What was so remarkable was that the teachers were not aware of what they were doing. When interviewed, they reported that they had not treated the bloomers any differently, but the researchers' observations told a different story. The changes in their behavior were subtle and unconscious. It was the warmer climate, the increased feedback, the greater input. The findings of the Rosenthal experiment have profound implications for every classroom in the world. It shows us that teachers are not just instructors of academic subjects. They are also powerful agents of change in their students' lives. The expectations they hold can create a cycle of success or a cycle of struggle. When a teacher believes in a student, they are more likely to invest the time, energy, and emotional support needed to help that student succeed. This, in turn, boosts the student's confidence and motivation. That leads to better performance, which then reinforces the teacher's initial high expectation. Consider a student who struggles with math. If a teacher labels the student as bad at math, they might give them easier work, call on them less, and offer less encouragement. The student internalizes this belief: I'm just not a math person. They may stop trying, become anxious during math class, and fall further behind. The teacher's low expectation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of failure. Now imagine a different teacher who sees the same struggling student and believes they have untapped potential. This teacher might say, "Math is challenging, but I know you can get it with practice." While the Rosenthal experiment was groundbreaking, it is important to acknowledge its limitations. Some critics have pointed out that IQ tests may not be the most reliable measure of intelligence. Others have noted that the effects of teacher expectations might not be as dramatic in all situations. The real world is more complex than a controlled experiment. Factors like a student's personality and the home environment also play a significant role. Some students may be more resilient and less influenced by a teacher's low expectations, while others may be more sensitive. The study is a powerful illustration, not an ironclad rule. Despite these criticisms, the legacy of the Pygmalion Effect remains incredibly important. It fundamentally changed the way we think about teaching and learning. It shifted the focus from a student's supposed innate ability to the power of the learning environment. The experiment inspired a wave of research in educational psychology and being used in many educational methods, including Waldorf and Montessori schools, and led to significant changes in teacher training programs. Today, educators are taught about the dangers of unconscious bias and the importance of maintaining high expectations for all students, regardless of their background or previous academic record. The study opened our eyes to the social and psychological forces at play in every classroom. The lesson of the Pygmalion Effect extends far beyond the schoolhouse doors. It applies to managers in the workplace, coaches on the sports field, and parents at home. When we believe in the potential of others, we empower them to achieve more than they thought possible. The simple act of believing in someone might just be the most powerful teaching tool we have. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and never stop questioning what you know. Thank you for choosing ACEMED to train your brain.